I'm Tilly. So I'm currently working as a product manager at ServiceNow, which is a B2B SaaS company. And our company mainly help the large corporate globally to do the digital transformation. And previously, I also did some like internship in the industry, including the high tech, like large tech, and some of the startups. And today I just want to learn more about you. And let's just give the microphone to you. How about you start from a self-introduction?
Sure. Thank you for your introduction and talking about myself. So I'd like to firstly introduce my academic background. So as you might already know, my name is Kate, and I am currently computer science master student in University of Washington. And yeah, I also have a bachelor degree in psychology. So I think this kind of academic background can really equip me with the technical, both technical background and also like user centric my side during my thinking process of solving a problem. Yeah, and the second part of my introduction will be my internship experience. So actually, I have like internship experience across different industries. For example, I have like two product manager internships in Microsoft Research and also in TikTok. So I'm really like passionate about product manager role, and this experience I also like equip me with the basic skill set of like being a product manager, and I have worked with like cross functional teams, and I believe this kind of experience also like give me a future career goal. Like I want to be a product manager after my graduation. Yeah, and so uh, besides the product manager experience, I also did some like data and analysis internships. Uh, so this experience lies in Apple Pay and the in mainly focus on the mainland China, and there are 5 million users in mainland China of Apple Pay. So I got to know a lot of technical skills during this process, and I also know like the big techs and also companies kind of enjoying making some like data driven decisions. So I believe the technical skill set of dealing with huge amount of data will be quite helpful to being a product manager. Yeah. So also I have maybe the last part of my internship will be like strategy consulting and the venture capital. So I believe this kind of internship lies into the business fields, which like help me to know the basic methodology of doing some market research. And I believe I also have the ability to learn and analyze a new industry in a quickly way, which is also a crucial skill set for a product manager. So this is basically all about myself. Thank you.
Sounds good. Since you already have a lot of hands-on experience in the product management work. Um, and I'm just curious, you also like you have already touched a little bit on why you are interested in PM, or you have said that you got the data analyst skill side, which is very crucial for product manager. So my next question will be, why do you want to be a product manager at you know, Whole Foods? As you know, we are the Whole Foods from Amazon. So why do you kind of like passionate about joining our team?
Okay. Yeah, that's a really good question. And yeah, as my formal communication with the HR, she told me that our team are basically focused on the pricing tools in the future. Maybe we are going to making a like automated pricing tool in both markets. And I think that's a quite crucial part in like Whole Food Markets business. So speaking of the reason why I want to apply for the product manager position, especially in your company, I believe there are several reasons. And the first one is I believe I am quite aligned with your missions and values in Whole Foods, because I noticed that the value of Whole Foods is like commitment to like nourishing people and also the whole planet. So I think that's a quite a good one, because according to my background and my experience, yeah, as you maybe already noticed, in TikTok, like I work in the cooperates society responsibility department, which is focused on like doing some fundraising and also try to make some contribution to the whole society. And during this process, I believe I gain a lot of like sense of satisfaction during helping people. So I also want to join an organization or a company like Whole Food Sales have holds this kind of missions of helping people and maybe make contribution to the society. Yeah. So that's the first reason. And I think the second reason will be, I think I have the interest like making some products like which are really closely to the business. So I think making like a pricing tool for the whole food markets, it is the product that I want to make because I believe the pricing of the of a grocery store maybe it is the core part of the business. So I think to join the team and make such a product will like give me a lot, and I also want to make some contribution to this business. And maybe the last reason is I think the culture is quite fit. And yeah, I'm also quite aligned with your culture because I noticed that in your values and also the maybe the leadership principle, something like that, Whole Foods markets are really value the connection between people and also the teamwork between like the whole organizations. So I can have the opportunity to cooperate with different kinds of people, engineers, designers, and also maybe some people salesperson in whole sales. So I believe the whole thing can make me really. That is basically the reason I applied for this position.
I see, I see. Sounds very like rich and like diverse experience. I'm just a little bit interested into your mention that you built a pricing system previously, which is like we want to hire some intern to help us to finish this initiatives. So can you elaborate a little bit more? How do you deliver that project?
Yeah. So actually, I did not build a like pricing system in my formal internship, but I do have like practice this kind of like case studies during my consulting internship. So I believe the logic of pricing in like consulting industry is quite the same with the like the tech industry or the maybe consumer industry like in food sales. So so maybe do you want to like do a like pricing case with me or something like that because I did not do a real case in my former experience.
Got you. No worries. I think I'm probably gonna to just move over to another question I have here since we
Okay.
really have the limited time. So next question will be, can you tell me about a time you have a conflict has at work? It can be your coworkers, can be if you don't have, feel free to bring up a hypothetical situation. We just want to see how you will react when you like confronting with the conflicts.
Okay. So maybe I like to talk about a conflict experience in my formal like TikTok internship experience as a product manager. So I believe the situation is that uh, during that time, we are going to build a new feature, which is really important to our department, focus on the fundraising process. And we want to redesign the whole system, especially one of the steps which have some kind of error in logic. And during that time, we need our UX designing team to to help us to redesign uh, the whole interaction page. And actually, the timeline is quite tight during that time. So the UX team just told us maybe they want to use a template to build this design instead of start from their own. But at that time, me and my leader, another product manager, we are kind of not that affected about this solution provided by the UX designer team. So that is the situation during that time. So so what I have done like try to solve this kind of conflicts because I have already like communicated with the designers inside the team and maybe like try to persuade them to create a new designing for our feature, but they just refused me. So I believe this is a quite like a normal conflict scenario. So try to solve this conflict. I and my leaders, we are trying to schedule a new meeting with the stakeholders inside the designer teams. And this time we include their designer leader instead of just talking to a single designer who is responsible for this feature. We just schedule a meeting and just put out our metrics about how important is the feature, and also we try to ask the help from the designer leader, maybe to give the feature more time and try to make the designer have more time to redesign a new interaction page instead of using a template. And after this communication, I believe the designer leader really helped us to rearrange the time, and the designer finally agreed to redesign a new page for us instead of using the template. And the whole result is quite satisfactory because our feature got to have a new well-designed page, and the designer team are also quite comfortable with this kind of time arrangement because we ask help from their leader instead of just pushing the one single designer. I believe that is a conflict experience in my formal internship.
Yeah. I think I got your what you did. So do you have any impact which is like driven by the escalation you got from the partner design team?
Yeah. So basically, this feature, the modifier of this feature, the purpose is to like improve the whole user flow of the fundraising process inside the TikTok. Because basically, this feature is for the employees to like donate their money to our platform, and after the redesign process, I believe our fundraising amounts like kind of increase a little bit, and I believe the well-designed page contribute a little. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. So my next question is, can you tell me about your experience of a teamwork?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So speaking of the experience of a teamwork, maybe I'd like to jump to my experience in Microsoft research. And yeah, during that time, like we are trying to solve a problem with, I am trying to solve a problem with our team, and the problem is the login success rate is a little bit low of our product. The product named VoiceBox, which is a product designed for the children under 3 years old and using some AI technology to learn English. So that is the situation of the problem, and our purpose of this like feature is to trying to improve the login success rate, and maybe we want to find out what is the reason like behind the low successful rate. So at that time, what I did is like because we have to find out the reason, and so at the beginning, we try to like schedule a meeting and maybe find out a solution, and yeah. So at that time, I think everybody contributes their point of view of the reason why we like getting a quite low successful rate, and I believe at that time, as a product manager, I have to put all these opinions together and try to figure out what is the most crucial one. So at that time, I give everybody a questionnaire about their opinion. So it's kind of like a small user research in our team. And after that, I just make a conclusion of what is the most important factor, and I redesign a new questionnaire which is targeted to our real users, and which just put out all the questionnaire to our real users, and again all the reply within a week. And after that, we try to make a more like scientific analysis of the results. So I just give all the results to my data the data analyst in my team, and let him help me to analyze all the data and maybe make a more scientific conclusion. Yeah. So and after that, the scientific maybe our data analysts give me a quite good result, and we just schedule another new meeting, maybe make a rediscussion about this kind of problem. And at that time, I noticed that different kind of roles, they have quite a totally different points of view when regarding this kind of problem. So after that, we just like build a new feature, and I believe the feature is kind of discussion by the decision of the whole team, and instead of I as a product manager making the decision by myself. So after that, we just try to add a feature which is like users do not need to log in to use our product. They can have a free trial by not using the register function. They can just jump into the whole like the whole process of how to learn English, and let their child try to use the application without registration. And after adding that feature, our app's login successful rate was like increased by 10%, which is a quite satisfactory result for me. And I believe that is that the good result is contributed by the whole team instead of myself. Yeah.
I see, I see. Yeah, so what's your takeaways from this experience?
Yeah, so I believe the key takeaway from this experience for me is try to listening to everybody inside your team. And especially in the early stage of a feature, because sometimes our product manager may try to just build a like document or a new feature by ourselves, but actually different kind of stakeholders, they hold different kinds of points of view, and maybe can give us more inspiration ideas in the early stage of building the feature or finding out some mistakes.
That sounds good. Okay. And since like for our audience, like information, since we are gonna to is also gonna to interview with us AI startup, so I'm just gonna use the another half a time to give her some question regarding to the AI startup. Um, so my first question related to the Hume AI is, why are you interested in our company?
Okay, cool. So speaking of the reason of why I got interested in human I think the first one is I was really fascinated by your mission about how to like integrate a technology with the human emotion intelligence. Because as we know, people are recently quite interested in making some large language model things. But yeah, as a psychology student, I know that how difficult it is to measure people's emotion changes. And I believe your vision of putting technology into measuring the emotion is really attractive to me as a psychology student. Yeah, and my second reason will be I think it is quite related to my formal experience, because as a like computer science and a psychology student, I have a formal research experience focus on like the human computer interaction field. And I also built a like build a research project which also use some data like gaze, head movement, and also the eye movement data, and try to build a tool to help people to improve their learning efficiency. But I noticed that in Hume AI, the tool and the measurement you build is far more stronger than my product. So I think maybe I can contribute a little bit about my inspiration and opinion to your product. And maybe the last reason is I think it is really exciting to apply my skill in this kind of meaningful area, and I also have some inspired new ideas about put your technologies into some new application field, and maybe I can share it with you.
Yeah, go ahead to share your experience, which you can resonate with our product.
Okay, no problem. So I think in my formal like research project, I try to use some physiological data like gaze, head movements, and blink data, and use some machine learning method to try to analyze this data and try to calculate the attention status of the users. And after that, I can put this data into a real-time mode and use this real-time attention data to try to improve the online courses. For example, we can use the platform in Coursera or Udemy, something like that. And in this kind of platform, we can notice that if the user is kind of out of the attention or they are not that focus on the course, we can adjusting the course content by maybe adding a small quiz question or just stop for a little while and for the users have a little break between the courses. So this is basically what my project did. And I noticed that in Hume AI, you have a quite advanced technology of measuring people's emotion and also from like use of webcam from people's looking and from their like yeah, it's a quite simple way because we all have the webcam on our laptop. So I think maybe in the future you can definitely put this technique into more application field. For example, what I can think about is the first application field will be the educational tools. As I mentioned before in my project, I think maybe we can like combine my project with your technique in the future to have some cooperation with the educational platform like Coursera or some other platforms. Yeah, and the second scenario I can think about is the job interview, like Hairview. People and the companies they are using Hairview recently, and actually I don't know whether Hairview will give the company the data of the users, like how did the company use the Hairview data. But I believe the data of emotion and can definitely reflect the status and also their maybe the knowledge of the company of the question. So maybe in the future we can also like build some cooperation with Hairview and maybe help them to improve their product, which are sold to the companies. And yeah, and maybe the third scenario I can think about is we can definitely use this kind of technique to maybe can integrate them into some customer services tools. Because when people like, for example, chatting with some customer services person, the facial expression can show their emotion status, and maybe it is quite a useful tool for the customer services companies to try to evaluate the performance of their customer services representatives. Yeah, so that's yeah, the third field I can think about. And maybe the last part will be we can also put these techniques into some e-commerce companies, because as we all already know that many of the e-commerce platform they use the behavior data of users to build the recommendation algorithm. But as far as I know, recently they are basically using maybe the data by the clinics or by the real time or something like that. But do not use the data from facial expression. So maybe in the future, we can also do some cooperation with the e-commerce platform and help them to improve their recommendation algorithm, which is, I believe, I feel have a big potential and are full of like a business value in the future.
Sounds good. I can feel the passion of you for our products. And um I think all the solution you provide is very amazing. And the next question I got for you is, um, so why do you think you're a good fit for this role? I kind of understand you probably have some previous experience, um, but I mean, what else do you like bring you to our company?
Got you. Yeah. Yeah. I think yeah. The related experience are definitely a plus, but I think there are also several points of myself, which makes me a good fit for this role. Like for example, I think the first one is this is the role of product operation, and I am a kind of extrovert person who is like willing to communicate with different kinds of people, especially people from different backgrounds. And I noticed that in your company there are people, definitely there are people from different backgrounds. For example, the engineers and also the researchers, the psychology researchers, and also maybe the designers. I feel like your team is quite same with the big tech team set, and I have the experience like dealing with cross-functional team in high-tech companies. So I believe this kind of experience can also help to during my internship in your company as a product engineer. Because I think uh, I not only have the like maybe the skill set of communicating with the technical background people, but also I am a psychology person myself. So maybe I am quite close with the like the professional knowledges in our companies. Yeah, and maybe the last reason is because um, like I'm also a person who is quite interested in like the venture capital investment. So like joining a startup like you, I know that you have just like gained a fundraising in the last year, and which is really exciting. So I believe this kind of skill set like a startup like you is really a type of huge potential in the future. And I definitely want to create something new with your team uh, about artificial intelligence, especially combined with the psychology knowledges.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, as you can see, I love all the idea you provided just now. So as you can see, we currently are mostly likely working on the API level, which is like a more infrastructure. So if you are the product manager inside our company, which domain do you think we will have potential to move into the application layer?
Okay, gotcha. I think this question may depend on the like the future purpose of our company. If our purpose is to like expand our effect on research field, uh, or if our purpose is like like expand our business revenue or something like that, or do you have a specific purpose in the future for our company?
Sorry, what did you say?
Like what is our purpose in the future? For example, next milestone, are we going to increase our revenue, or like are we going to increase our like the effect of our uh if like the research papers? So what is the most important one in the future?
I see, I see. I like to say it's parallel. We don't really want to focus on a single factor because, as you say, that we are still a very early stage startup. So we definitely want to target to more like larger market share. But on parallel, we still want to heavily invest on our research because that's definitely our, advantage.
Okay, got you. Um, okay, so from this point of view, I like to choose the e-commerce field in the future. And if I am the product manager in the company, I will put more effort on this field because I think the e-commerce in United States is a quite early stage compared to my hometown China, and maybe the recommendation algorithm can be greatly improved by this kind of facial expression data, and I think the great improvement on the recommendation algorithm can really contribute to the company's revenue. So maybe the willing of buying our product for the e-commerce company is like it's really strong. So maybe if we can build a kind of a product related to this field, mm, maybe I believe the business influence of our company will like decrease greatly. And also we can definitely publish some papers focused on this marketing or e-commerce marketing field because I know some of my peers or former friends, they are currently PhD students in business school, and I believe doing the like marketing skills related to the physiological data is definitely a quite interesting and front end field in their like in their research scope. So I think if we choose e-commerce, this field can like contribute to both of the side you have mentioned before.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think like currently I'm pretty much know what I want to ask you today. So I think I'm probably gonna to give several minutes back to you, and we will see you and update to you by email.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
How's your feeling? I think we can just like jump into the feedback
Yeah.
session.
No problem.
How's your feeling?
I was feeling about the like the leadership principle question is not that good because I need to prepare some small story a story in advance, but I think my story is not that well prepared, so maybe the teamwork question is a little bit messy for me.
Do you have any other self-awareness?
Um, like I'm thinking like I think it's quite it is quite difficult to answer this kind of question in a good way. And I also want to ask you for some advice about maybe how to write the small story or like how to prepare for different kinds of behavior questions. Because as you know, there is like over 14 items inside of Amazon leadership principle. And maybe people can ask over 100 questions from these principles, and it is hard to prepare every question. So do you have any suggestion on how to prepare maybe the similar questions, or if we meet some questions we have not prepared before, what can we do to make it to the best? Yeah.
I see, I see. So I got a question like mainly like falling into two buckets. The first one is regarding to the performance over your interval just now. The second one is basically how to prepare for the behavior question interval. So I guess what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna to like basically give you feedback on each question of you just like answered, and then like based on that, I'm just gonna to jump to the my like advices and suggestion regarding to the preparation. So overall, I think my feedback for you is so the good part is I think you did really amazing job on the time control. So basically, I think all you answer was pretty concise because that is a lot of like, a lot of interviewees or candidate, they probably have like a struggling with giving too much details or makes the details too like granular. So a lot of times like people run over, but I think you're pretty like good at that part. I don't think like I was like counting the time for all the question of you. I don't think any of the question I ask you over you run over like 5 minutes, which is good because like basically as an interviewer, I'm like taking notes to help me to like make the judgment after the interview. So if you run over like 5 minutes, especially regarding to the behavior question, it's going to be a very like dangerous signal. Um, and the second one is I think like especially for like behavior question, I think you overall the vibe you deliver to the interview is very calm, which is like very preferred by the B2B company because compared to I think like a different company really has like a different type of the person they really want. So I think you really did a good job because like for the second part of the interviewer, which is like a large, which is like a small scale and early age startup, you like behaved really, energetic, very, young, very just like very like a, student just like a come out of like the college is very good because they just value passion a lot because they need you to drive all the like products or innovation, innovatives. But like compared to the early stage, I think all the like B2B firm like Amazon you are gonna to interview with or my company or Salesforce, I think they prefer the image which is we call 人设 in Chinese,
Yeah.
right? I think it's really like the strategic, like the calm, like the experience kind of like type of person. Because in our day-to-day job, like all the customer we interact with are like pretty much are all the high ups in the large corporate. Let's say the CPO, CTO, CISO of the Pepsi, of the Google. So you got to have that level of the calm and the professionalism. So I think regarding to this part, you did a really good job. But coming to the next part, which I think you might can do better, is the first one. I think you definitely, as you mentioned, you can be more structured. Um, because like we got this like question before your interview. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming that you already have a real polished story, like you're waiting to throw to my face. But like my feeling is just, oh, she's kind of like a throwing or like a putting everything together on the spot. So which is a little bit, which is fine, which is like more close to the real situation. But if you can use the STAR principle, which is pretty normal, like to the BQ question, right? The situation task, what is a like
I see. Action, I believe.
yeah, actions.
Yeah, action. Yeah,
So it's like
action and
result, right?
result. Yeah.
So what I do is when I interview with my like B2B like interviews, what I do is I reverse the STAR principle a little bit. So I usually reverse the result to the very beginning because when I like ask you this question, I just want get a like a high level one sentence like description to summarize all the basically a story you are going to tell the interviewer. Because in this case, they have the expectation what they can, expect in the upcoming 5 minutes.
Okay.
So if that's so worst case, if you lost in the following answer when you are trying to gathering all the material together, it's still fine because you have already set up the expectation for the interviewer, which is I was a little bit lost in the your team's work question because I think you just like directly jump into the projects and then I don't think you really like emphasize the keywords like what was my the sorry so what was my like challenging things. So if I was you, I probably will say here's the situation. I basically involved in some projects which is ABC, and then I will say the challenges that I confronted with is blah blah blah, and then I would just say how we solve it is what. So I probably gonna to slow my tone or my speed a little bit because this is hence I'm like a taking no for the all the time. And probably I just like work for the whole day. I'm already like super tired, especially for the interviewer. So you gotta to like catch that attention when you want to emphasize on the key points, like what you did, like what's your impact, what do you think is the challenges is, and what takeaways you got. So I always think like the best interviewees should like summarize the basically already gave the well polished information to the interviewer so that they don't have to do the brain work on the spot. And second thing is the second point I think probably you can do better is yeah, I think sometimes you prefer like a very calm is good, but if you can be like more, emotional, probably emotional is not a good word in this cases, but you got what I mean, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, so you really want that interview. I probably just like gonna to warm up the environment a little bit because a good conversation always came like from something like a lot of like subtle small things, but still very important. So which can tie to the point I think you did really well in the second part of your interview is when you were answering the question, um, why do you think you're a I think it's why Hume AI. So you mentioned that you have the interest, you have the overlap of the educational background, you also have the experience like building some AI tools, and then you ask me, do you want me to elaborate more? Do you want me to like dive into the projects I have like already? So that is pretty good because I think upon that time you have already talked for like 5 minutes. Um, so and then I probably at that moment I was gonna to basically lost. But you just asked me a question. Okay, do you want me to provide more details? And you drive me back. So I think that's definitely my like observation as an interviewer today. Um, yes. I
yeah,
think overall it's like this question. So this is like a high level feedback. Um, I'm saying my no. If there is any other most like question specific. Yeah, for the like, I think like I asked the same question. Why PM? I think that question definitely can be more like structured because for the first part, I'm like acting like acting as a like a product manager from the Whole Foods. But I think you mentioned that YPM, you said that, oh, I talked with the recruiters as like you're like looking for a candidate who has a like data analyzing experience, skill set and the pricing system skill set. And then you can like jump into the TikTok experience and says that you also have some like a consulting experience regarding to the price tools. And then you mentioned the culture a little bit. So I think that is fine. But if you can do it more like so you're the ideal for like YPM. So firstly, I'm gonna to lay like overarching stuff. So I'm gonna to go ahead to talk about the mission and vision of the company or the team because essentially no matter what tools or what projects you are working on, you're working to like build a holistic product. So I probably just say, oh, I think like I really like the Whole Foods like a mission where they are just trying to bring the good quality products using the technology of the e-commerce. And also just like trying to, emphasize on the quality, of the grocery and build and targeting to those like high end like user group, which has you can just say which has really like appreciate or I adore because I also like went to Whole Foods sometimes. I really like the cheesecake there. It's always good to add some like a personal stuff like a sprinkle like sprinkling sparkling stuff into your as a like
Yeah.
catalyst, right? Catalyst into your answers. So, and then like from the high level, I'm probably gonna to go into the teams level. So, oh, you're like building, as far as I know, you're building a pricing system. So I'm pretty like much, I have some experience over there, and I think it's really, I have the skill side, but, and also I'm like, I'm passionate about this project. And then to team level, and lastly, you probably can just like dive into the um I like to say a more like a personalized as you did you because I ask you the follow-up question, can you give me more details about the pricing stuff you did? Because it's like a more personalized stuff. It's like, as you can see, it's how I approach it is mostly likely from the high level, from the company team and the personal like story. So this will give the interview a very like a good like impression. Why you think you were like just so like passionate about the team. Yeah, that should be all my feedback based on the interview you conduct today.
Okay. Thank you so much for your feedback. And yeah, that's really helpful. And I'm going to modify my answers after the mock live for sure.
Okay. And so we can talk about the second part is regarding to the preparation. So I think a BQ is really a like a drudgery works. You gotta to like put all your experience into like a story bank. So I personally have a story bank, and also I have to each story I have just like a different version of the story to which it can be mapping to which can be mapped to different skill set I want to show off. So as you can see, like you shared with me the Amazon leadership principle, but oh, another thing I want to bring up here is because I just like browse the Amazon leadership principle a little bit when you were answering my question. To be honest, I don't think like I can see like a part of or at least one like skill set or like one principle they mention on the leadership principle. So how I did like which like tie back to the how to prepare for the behavioral question is like you gotta to map your like story to the skill set you're gonna like showcase to the interviewers. And also because like because we are not like a native speakers, it's not really hard. It's more harder for us to adjust the length of the story on the spot. So what I recommend is you also have the like different lengths of the story. You can say have a like a 10 minutes one, which is like you can just like break down into like a several follow-up question in case the interviewer will like dive into the details. And then you're probably going to have like a 5 minutes and 3 minutes and one sentence. So if you can break down your story in such like a granular like level, like to like basically help you to solve like a different like potential like situation in the interview, it will be super like helpful. um and the second one for the preparation I would say is um person still like personalize a little bit on your experience, which can map or align with the company or the team's mission. Since like everyone on this market at this point is super experienced, or all I would like to say all of them are overqualified. So you're not like competing with them using your skill set. You probably a lot of time, especially BQ, you're trying to have the interviewer resonate with you more. So how to make that happen? I think it's like definitely bring more like details, bring more like a personal like experience or a lot more like a emotional like stuff into your answer, which will definitely helps because you know after you like become a full-time employee, I think like it's just human nature. Like people love like working with funny, like likable and very like, kind of like a very like light-hearted person. So if you could just like add some like more fun like into your answer, that would be great. But this is definitely another level of the interviewer skills. So it's built up with times. And lastly, I would like to say is so what I did last year. So for each company, I will have a cheat sheet. Um, I cannot share my screen. Can you help give me the
Oh, sorry, wait a minute. Yeah, maybe you can try now.
last year I have something like this. So a lot of times like behavior question, as I said, I have a lot of story like in my story banks, but it's just really hard for me to like search or just remember all the stuff on the spot. So I would just like have this kind of like a high level stuff to do the reasoning in my brain and just like write down all the point I want to touch in my interview. And I think it's super like efficient and useful for me. So I definitely want to share with all the audience here.